Before we start the video, today's sponsor is The Big Shuffle, a film noir card game that is live on Kickstarter. The Big Shuffle is a film noir card game where you are trying to make your way in an uncaring city. This is a competitive 2 to 4 player game where you play as one of 6 classic film noir characters, such as the Private Eye, the Femme Fatale, and the Mafia Don. Each of these characters have their own win conditions and unique abilities to achieve their agenda. You have to play smart though, as it's easy for someone else to change a scene for their benefit also. Full of role-playing opportunities, The Big Shuffle pairs well with a cigar, whiskey, and smooth jazz. The Big Shuffle Kickstarter ends on January 9th, so if you want a unique game from the iconic American era of 1940s noir film, check them out today for Kickstarter exclusives. You'll find links in the description. And with that, on to today's video. Alright everybody, welcome to another week of Indie Inquiries, where we review Steam store pages and provide marketing advice to give developers the best chance at selling their games. I am Josh Bycer from Game Wisdom, and join me from soon-to-be Nexus Games Plus, Sharky.
Yeah, the meme of me renaming the company is real. But yeah, good to be here. Good to get another episode of the Indie Inquiries. We're going to hopefully help these developers make better store pages so it can help their marketing.
And if you'd like to submit a game for a future show, please get in touch with either one of us. You'll find links to our respective channels, social media, and all that great stuff down in the descriptions.
Yep.
But
so, you ready to get into it?
Yep, let's get started. Alright. So, we are beginning with Citizens. This was a submitted game, and this is looking to be a city builder light, or city builder like, in terms of its design. So, let's start as always with our thumbnail.
A very clean thumbnail.
Yep, it catches your eye, at least in terms of the title. Like, this is not something you're going to get confused looking at.
Yeah, and the actual name is very clear to read. It has a good enough contrast between in the background, despite it being white on a light blue, due to that dark blue outline around it, just really makes it clean and readable.
Yeah. Now, the problem, though, is that there's not really, would you say, like, anything that's, like, standing out about it?
Yeah, it's really kind of plain looking. If you were, it doesn't look bad. It just kind of looks plain, And this kind of game, they're going to have a hard time not getting that plain look. But it's something they need to try to address, kind of thing. I don't. It'd probably be best to have like custom art done for it rather than like a screenshot. Because if they're just going to do a screenshot, it is probably going to get that feeling of plainness.
Yeah.
But like they might lose the cleanness and a lot of other stuff in the process, so they'll have to make sure they regain that when they make a new one, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's also like no structure here. There's nothing that's really leading your eyes to Citizens other than sort of this clip right here is sort of pointing at it, but it's also pointing down this way.
Yeah.
There's nothing kind of directing your eyes towards this other than the fact of there's sort of empty space here with the ocean here that's sort of directing your eyes there, but it's very, very loose and not a good solid way of directing the eyes on its own.
Yeah. And again, it's not a bad thumbnail. Like, we've seen worse thumbnails doing these reviews. But it's just not really like it doesn't rise to the point where if I'm scanning on, store page or whatever, that this is going to make me want to just like immediately click on this game.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing that also at the same time makes you not want to avoid clicking on it, rather.
Yeah, so
it's not repulsing, but it's not exactly attracting either.
Yeah. So the grade-wise, I think we decided on giving this the Gentleman's C. That is just perfectly in the middle.
Yeah. Just right, basically average.
Yep. So let's get to the trailer, and for those of you watching this, we have a jump scare warning for this trailer.
Yeah.
Alright, I am ready.
I think I am.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, go.
So we have spinny landscapes, which is not a good idea.
I'm Kiwi, one of the developers.
And there goes a jump scare.
I'm here to give
you. We were
you
not
a quick
expecting that when we did this. When we did our pre-stream.
It's a city builder. It puts
I was expecting it, and it still got me.
Forward thinking, rewards outstanding calculated moves, but punishes.
I was like, wait, did somebody just join the call?
There is very little randomness in the game, meaning you won't need to fight and rage against arbitrary numbers, and good strategy will always be rewarded. There are over 50 different buildings in Citizens,
so my
split into complex
is I still know what I'm doing in this
which
game.
you will learn about when playing our handcrafted
as well
campaign.
As this doesn't feel like a trailer,
island,
it feels
you will learn
more
new
like
mechanics, unlock new
tutorial.
buildings, and experiment with new resources.
But
who knows? Maybe you'll even meet an ancient civilization who would be willing to trade with you.
Explaining what's going on, because we'll find out later in the screenshots that there's another basically complete mode to this game that's not even
if you don't provide them with
shown
food,
here.
Your workers will go hungry. Without luxury resources which your artisans and aristocrats can enjoy, your treasury will likely enter
a spiral overly
of death,
long. It's a minute 44, and
but at the end of the day,
a main
you can
trailer
avoid
should
all
be
of those bad things by being
90
a good
seconds
ruler.
or shorter.
And if you don't want to stress yourself out,
this one, I'm
hop
pretty
onto
sure
our
it would
free
need to
build
be
mode,
a
where
lot
you can
shorter
place
than
pretty
90
buildings
seconds.
wherever you desire, without worrying about any of those things I just warned you about. Welcome.
90 seconds
to
would
Citizens.
go for something that has a lot of content, and the trailer just ends abruptly.
There's
there's no
call to action. There's no structure, and this feels more like, you know how some games had the quote-unquote gameplay trailer, where it's just a trailer meant to talk about the game, not really sell the game. And I think that's what this feels like. This is more of a third down kind of trailer. Like, if you remember when we looked at Wed, and they had 3 distinct actual trailers, this one would probably be below that for sure. Like, there's just nothing here that would be considered marketing.
Yeah, this is not so much a trailer. This is a live tutorial, if you were.
It's not really a tutorial, though.
Yeah, which it doesn't really teach you good enough how to play the game. So it kind of fails on that aspect. And when you're talking about that on its own, you would never want this as your first trailer. This would be like your third trailer.
Yeah.
If it's even included at all.
Yeah, and the footage that they're showing is just doesn't seem to be like any editing done to it. And it's all the same general content. And that's what you also want to avoid. Like, if your game features multiple biomes, multiple areas, you want to show that in your trailer. You want your game to look as big as you can. And this looks very small.
Yeah. And at the same time, you want it to, the way to make it look big is by making your trailer shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to show them as many different things as you possibly can at the same time of not repeating anything, not hanging on anything. You want to make it quick, snappy, in a hurry, and if you don't have enough content to do that for 90 seconds, then don't do it for 90 seconds. Do it for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 seconds, whatever it takes. But you need to focus it to where it is your best, the best, 20, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or whatever you can put forward.
Or you're just not going to retain people. You're not going to get them interested in this. And
and there's no structure to this trailer. There's no cold opening. There's no intro. There's no.
Did he even mention the name of the game?
I don't think they did.
Oh, I just wanted to see this really fast. Jump scare again warning for people.
I'm not going to put my stream through the jump scare.
I'm Kiwi, one of the developers of Citizens.
He does say the name of the game at least.
Okay. But there's no call to action. There's no structure at all in this.
Yeah. So this is not the worst trailer we've seen, but we can't in good conscience give this a high grade because there's just way too many structural things wrong with it.
Yeah, there's this is, I mean, like it's hard to even call this a trailer, to be honest. There's no clips of video. There's no editing really. There's except for the spinning cities at the beginning, which will give certain people with a disability. I forget what it is. Is it vertigo or is it something else?
Don't know.
If it's not vertigo, it's something vertigo adjacent or something like that. That really can really hurt from the spinning screen. Yeah. So, problem is a lot of experimental games don't do well because they don't market themselves right.
Yeah. So
I have no idea what that game is. Ziggus. And hello, Ziggus.
Who?
So, I believe Ziggus is the developer of this game.
Okay.
But I'm not 100%.
So, unfortunately, though, we have to give this a low grade.
Yeah.
So, what are you thinking for this one?
The gameplay and everything looks interesting. And there could really be something to this game, but the trailer is not selling me on it, and that's what we have to grade it on. Red Car is the developer.
There's what's the game they're talking about?
So, but we're grading it not on the game itself, but on the trailer and the editing or lack of editing structure and all that stuff. And based on all that,
full landscape building,
I'm going to have to regrettably give this an F+. This is
here the task
less of a trailer and more just a, I don't know, like a stream highlight almost. You know what I mean?
I looked off of a Dwarf Romantic. I think that's the game they were mentioning. And
bottom right.
Steam would not keep playing the sound like a troublemaker here. And I can see what they're saying in terms of the structure, in terms of it being experimental. But it looks like I'm getting more footage or more meat in terms of what the trailer is showing off. And again, like we said, experimental games are very hard. And I understand why you have the narration to it. But I would say one big thing, if you're going to go for this style, and we're going to mention this when we get to the images, I need to be able to understand what it is I'm doing in this game. Not just showing me things being put down, but, why am I putting this stuff down? And
Okay.
for...
You gotta answer the whys.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I have to agree with Shark that the trailer gets an F plus for me. And again, like we always say, what we grade here is not gameplay related. We are focusing on the marketing and what you're putting out to show people.
You're right. And it has no inkling on the game itself, because we've given some games that we really love very, very low grades for their trailers, and we've given some games that we don't like at all some pretty high grades for their trailers.
So let's get to the images. And here's where we run into one of the big problems. There are several images that show an entirely different UI, an entirely different kind of design. So
you're talking about screenshot number 2
and number 8.
And number 8.
And the reason why this is a bad thing, or why this is trouble, is that I don't know from as a consumer looking at this game, what it is I'm even doing. And this is one of the big problems with the trailer itself, is that this footage, or these images that show, which I'm assuming from reading the About This Game page, is the turn-based combat, is not referenced at all in the trailer. The advantage that Dorf has is that it is very much just that singular gameplay loop. So what they show is entirely what your game is going to be about. This, however, you have content that's important to your game, but it's not in the trailer of the game.
Yeah. And we're not saying that you shouldn't have these thumbnails, screenshots in here. We're saying that this should have been included in the trailer, because this, when we seen this, it was like, wait, what? Is that even the same game? And it was just really shocking kind of thing. It's like, why wasn't this in the trailer? How does this even work kind of thing? We were, because the whys weren't answered in the trailer for that part, we didn't know that part, and then this just provided more questions for us rather than answers kind of thing.
And one thing that I do like, and this should also be in the trailer itself, is screenshot 5 that shows kind of like the winter biome. If your game has different environments, different biomes, you want to include that not only to show off more of your game, but to break up these images. So it's not just you're seeing all the same temperate, or that kind of like a grassy biome.
Yeah, if I look through these screenshots really quickly, just super quicking, really fast, they all look the same except for this one. And you don't want that. You want somebody to be able to click through this and basically like look like they're in a strobe light party with the faces on the color on their face changing every screenshot they click, kind of thing.
The goal here, like we've said, is that you want your game to look greater than the sum of its parts. You want the player to feel like there is a lot to this game. And unfortunately, from what we're seeing, it's not being represented the best way through these images.
Yeah. And some of these images were in the trailer, like number 3 was in the trailer. I'm pretty sure several of these were in the trailer, and the ones that weren't in the trailer look just like stuff that was in the trailer for the most part. Because it's, again, all in the same kind of biome kind of thing. And it's just feeling very samey, and it's feeling like your game doesn't have any kind of content to it kind of thing.
And I would also advise that if your game does have late game buildings. Like again, you mentioned you have like I think over 50 different structures and all that. If you have something, very visibly impressive, a castle, monuments, something that takes, the entire game to build towards, I would show that in the images. I will also maybe put that as kind of your finale of your trailer. Like, I want to see what does endgame look like in a game like this. Because it's something that we see in, everything from, the older city builders to the Anno games. That when they had those massive, like the cathedrals in Anno, the monoliths and stuff, monuments and stuff like that, they show that stuff off. They want to give the player, that carrot on the stick that, you can play this game and someday you can build this.
Yeah. I'm still just really interested in Screenshot 2 because, like, I want to know what this combat's like.
Yep. And again, if there's a gameplay system in your game, you have to show it in the trailer. You don't want to hide systems. It's not the same as, hiding boss fights and story, but, like, if I go to buy a game and your trailer shows first-person shooter combat, and then the moment I load the game up, it's a dating sim or, a racing sim, I'm going to be a little bit confused about that.
Yeah, it's a first-person shooter where after you kill everybody, you get to date the boss.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So,
and then if you just had the trailer just be the dating part, or if you had the trailer just be the shooting part kind of thing, when people get to the other part, they're going to be really confused and be like, "Did I buy the right game? I mean, what is this?"
mm-hmm. So the grade, it's going to be better than the trailer, but it's still going to be on the lower side. Like, I can't justify putting this into the C range.
Yeah.
I mean, the
screenshots are one of those things that it's very easy to get a high grade or a low grade. It's very, very hard to get a C.
Yeah. And
because it really just takes something that's, that each screenshot is unique. Every screenshot looks a good bit different and doesn't, show kind of sameness.
And you want at least,
as well as, like, you get, screenshots of, like, key menus and stuff like that, key UI elements kind of thing that, cue you into, there's a equipment system to this game, or there's a battle planner system, or any kind of thing like that, and you want to make sure that that's, kind of front and center in one of your screenshots.
Yeah.
And it's better to have less good screenshots than more
like
lesser screenshots.
40 screenshots are just literally the same thing. Or maybe it's like literally a slideshow of a character walking from left to right over 40 different screenshots. And we
haven't seen that yet, but I suspect we will see that one day.
And again, if you have anything fantastic, your money shot of the trailer, you can include that as an image. Like, we've seen games that feature, some crazy boss fight, and then they'll take that exact same moment in the trailer and make that an image. And that's fine. That is more than fine. If you have something that's going to, knock people's socks off, you can repeat that.
Yeah, but in general, you don't want to repeat anything.
Yeah.
So any part of your Steam page, whether it's, your trailer, your screenshots, or your GIFs, So, but if you do have some key things that knock people's socks off, show that multiple times, but try to only show it twice.
Yeah.
Try.
So
there are exceptions to that.
For the images, like I said, I can't see giving this in the C range. I don't. No. The fact that everything looks clean, everything looks, again, the game has a very clean look to it. That does help it.
Yeah, so, it's a very clean, low poly look.
Yeah. It's definitely on the F range. I feel
No.
like this is again on that cusp of a D to C. So I think I'm gonna give this a D plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna go D plus too. This is almost a C, but
Yeah.
not quite.
Mm-hmm. Few more images that can break things up. I think
Or
would
just
have.
less images in total
Yeah.
that allows the the different images you have
The
to
pop.
actually break things up better.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to the about this game section.
But they
So
have some really good banners here. I really like that. And they start off with a join the community with a Discord link. And that is a really good thing right there.
yep.
But then they go into 2 paragraphs, a wall of text here. You want to ideally you'd want the longest thing on your store page to be about this long right here. So this is a sentence too long, and then you've got almost double that.
Yeah, and we want to see GIFs and images breaking this up. And
After
especially
this should be, it should cut about right here, and then you should have a GIF here.
Yeah. And especially in a game like this, like if your game is going to be experimental, we need to understand what the game is actually going to entail. And we're not getting that.
Yeah, it's one of those show don't tell kind of things.
Yeah. And then try the demo, your feedback is super important to us. I feel like try the demo and build a thriving city should be reversed in their order.
Yeah, probably. And again, way too much text here.
Yep. Citizens offers new approach.
Cut down on text and increase in GIFs and images.
Yeah.
Then here for Thriving City, they have some good bullet points here. And then they have a still image. I mean, the image looks good, but I
don't know what
and
this
it has
is.
this nice fade at the bottom, which I really like that. But it is just a still image. It would be nice if this was actually a GIF and you could see water moving and I don't know, birds flying by. Maybe the lights in the house is flickering, kind of thing. That would make this legitimate.
Yeah.
And I would also probably like to see this little, fade pattern here that you have also on the top and maybe on the sides too, depending on how that looked.
But here's our problem. I still don't know what this gameplay loop is. The text is describing a lot of things, but I still don't get what I'm actually doing. And that is a red flag, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The image here, like Shark says, it doesn't reference anything. It doesn't go with that. When we looked at, when I looked at the Dwarf page, when they talk about special tiles, they showed a GIF of them putting down those special tiles. So when we go here, explore several production chains, there could be a GIF of you putting down, maybe forestry to a lumber mill to a furniture shop. I don't know what's in your game, but show me what you are describing.
Yeah, there needs to be context to the GIFs. This one is just a spinning city at the bottom, and it's not going with what you're saying here. It's not, this is talking about then try out the free build mode kind of thing. And I mean, you should be showing us stuff from the free build mode kind of thing.
Yeah, and again, when we get to fight and trade, nothing. You have so far the only things that we know about the fighting system are 2 images. That's the entirety of it. If this is a major gameplay system in Citizens, it needs to have more of a prominence on this page.
Yeah, I would like to see a GIF of the combat happening here in Fight and Trade.
And there should be, again, a GIF in every section.
If not more than one.
So
you should be keeping the text to small segments, about 4 sentences or less. 4 sentences is basically the max that you want to go.
The paragraphs are just like right on that line of being long, being too long, but there needs to be more images and GIFs to break that up.
Yeah. If if there was a image between the 2 paragraphs in join the community, if there was an image between two GIFs between in the try to demo, which I feel like that section is just way too long as it is. So like I would try to lower that probably down to just 1 paragraph.
Yeah, and
also move that closer to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And this paragraph in Build the Thriving City, that is way too long. That is a run-on paragraph. That should be 2 paragraphs kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that should also be broken up with a GIF in between kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And make all your GIFs applicable to what you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
Don't just talk about the thing, show the thing that you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, so for this one, like, the structure is good, but it's missing, again, like, the finer details. And
I feel like some small changes to this, just adding GIFs that actually apply to what you're talking about here, would vastly change this grade. Just doing that one thing, that would... doing that, I think this would be a B, maybe even better grade for this page.
Yep. But for right now, I think I have to give this a D+. That even this, with the structure and how it is, it's still just not doing it when it comes to selling someone on this game.
Yeah. The key to selling is showing, not telling.
Yeah.
And this is telling, not showing. So I will go with a D+ as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, they did do pretty decent on their structure. This is... Usually, we'll see grades that are in the C+ range that do not have structure, nowhere near as good as this, but they do have images, and they do make it clear what their gameplay loop is. Yeah. And that is more important than structure.
But if you want a high grade, you need both. So, let's go to the title card. So, you have 2 genre tags, and they're both really good genre tags. Although
missing the freebies of single player
and
indie.
I would also maybe think about adding puzzle, because you mentioned strategic puzzler here. I wonder if they could get away with having 5 tags.
Maybe. I don't know if puzzle fits into that one, but it certainly wouldn't be a bad idea to put it in either way.
Yeah. So you have your Discord server, which is good. But then we have a kind of a big problem. There is no other social media contact. There is no Twitter, no website, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, whatever else you want to throw in here. And this is something that's very important, because influencers want the path of least resistance when it comes to reaching out to developers. And they're not going to want to join a Discord to then ask somebody, how do I get in touch with a developer? They want, an email, a press kit, something.
Yeah. So, I would suggest, a Twitter page that...
and you can send messages through the Twitter.
Yeah. So that anybody can send messages and everything, and have that set up well. And I would also suggest, a YouTube channel that it has activity on it. It doesn't need to be like super active. You don't need to be posting videos every day or anything like that, but a video a month, 2 months kind of thing. Just something regular that, says the channel's not dead, would be nice, you know.
Yeah. And again, whatever you show here should be of the best quality that you can make. So if you don't have the funding or you don't have somebody who's good at web design to make a good website, don't make a website. But you still need some kind of landing in terms of your social media beyond Discord. Discord is important, but you still need to have that social media presence somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
and it's good that you have the Discord on here because many people, that's usually what we ding them for, not having a Discord.
Yeah.
But they usually have a Twitter and YouTube or some other social media on top of that.
Yeah.
But you've sort of gone the inverse of most of the things we've encountered.
So, the grade-wise, without having a social media presence, we can't give this a high grade. And it also means we can't even give this an average grade. Like, average would be having, 3 tags and maybe a Twitter. Like, that would be, bare minimum.
Yeah.
So,
but he doesn't have a Twitter. He does have a Discord, which I think nets him more points than having a Twitter does. But he's not missing. He's missing a tag, and he doesn't have anything else.
Yeah. So again, I can't give this even an average grade because it's just missing what we consider to be the bare minimums. So I think for me, it's another D+.
Yeah, same here.
So the final grade, unfortunately.
When we talk about final grades, the main thing that the most important part of this entire page is the trailer, and therefore the trailer becomes the base grade, and everything else modifies that. Sad thing is the trailer got
our lowest grade,
the lowest grade, and that's the most important thing with the worst score. And that's going to vastly affect the overall score of the page.
Yeah. And while everything else did do better than the trailer, it's not doing enough to move that needle. If we were to raise the grade, we would need everything to think I'd be at least a B, I would say. Maybe a C+ at the minimum.
I wouldn't say that high, but like if we were going to raise it up a lot, yeah. But like, I think the fact that most everything else got a D+, it's not having that much of a pull on the F+ of the trailer.
Yeah.
The only thing that's having really a big pull on it is the thumbnail. The thumbnail that got a C.
Yeah.
But a C is not much of a pull on a D+, on a F+ still. Yeah. The thumbnail would be your second most important thing, and I think it's just right at that border where just if your thumbnail had gotten a C+ kind of thing, this would have been enough to raise your trailer from an F+ to an overall grade of a D- kind of thing.
Yeah,
but it's not a C+.
Yeah, if one more thing would have gotten, I think, a decently high grade, I could see at least pushing this into the D range. But for this, I think we have to keep the trailer grade consistent.
And the thing is even if you scored an A+ on your thumbnail, on your screenshots, on your About This Game page, and on your title card kind of thing, even if all that was A+ kind of thing, the fact is that would only raise your trailer raise your trailer by 3 scores, which would raise it from a F+ to a D+.
Yeah.
And so your trailer is a majority of your score, and you can't if the trailer score is not high, then you're not going to be in
because the trailer is going to be what people. There's 2 things people are going to be seeing usually first from you: your thumbnail or your trailer. Thumbnail if you're on a store page, trailer, anywhere else. And if the trailer...
And your trailer is going to be the second thing everybody that sees on your your store page, and your trailer is the one and main thing that is going to sell people on your game
or push them away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So again, the game sounds interesting. I would love to check it out when it is available. But again, I'm not a general consumer. I'm the guy who will play just about anything, even if it just, interests me 1%. For the consumer to check out your game, and more importantly, to spend money, you have to, unfortunately, do more to get them to do that.
Yep.